New Thought Media Network proudly presents Lindsay Leimbach, Practicing Infinite Possibilities, Fridays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. And now, here's Lindsay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to PIP, Practicing Infinite Possibilities. So I'm very excited that you are all here. I am assuming that we all of our December 2nd. Can you believe it? We're in December 2nd. So let's start. Well, last week, what I told you all is that I had COVID, and that I really had to take a breath because everything I was seeing and feeling was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. And I ended up having to cancel all my plans, all my plans. So I'd love to see some comments, see who's out there, say hi, make sure that everyone can hear me and all is going well. So if you could throw me a hi, that would be terrific. Today, I really want to talk about Harry Potter. And you're like, Harry Potter? What are you talking about with Harry Potter? Well, what's going on? And give me a hi, I just want to make sure you guys can hear me clearly because I was having some technical difficulty before. So if you could write in your comments you can hear me, that would be awesome. I stayed home and have been staying home, isolating myself, and I watched the whole Harry Potter series again, and that was one thing of the infinite possibilities when I was struggling and having to cancel everything in my life. And I started to watch it with new eyes. Oh, great. Can you hear me? I see a good hi out there. Just give me a thumbs up. Thanks so much. And when I was watching it with new eyes, with new thought eyes, and I was really seeing what was going on, then I realized, God, Harry Potter is really filled with great ancient wisdom that I have read in Christianity, in New Thought, Ernest Holmes, in Buddhism, and all different areas. And I'm like, I'm going to make this my next PIP. So let's go ahead and let's put that up. Let me see. If I go into my banners, go into my brands, I'm still moving a little slow. Look at this. So Dumbledore said, this pain is part of being human. The fact that you can feel pain like this is the greatest strength. Wow. 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 You mean being a human being, I have to feel pain? And the answer is yes. That is what the Buddha said. He said, life is filled with suffering. We have been given this wonderful brain with this nervous system. And in this nervous system, we can actually feel, right? We can feel. We can feel good and we can feel bad. We can want to cry. We can feel disappointed. We can feel jealous. We can feel angry. We can feel frustrated, but we can feel love. We can feel compassion. We can feel caring. We can feel connected. So we have this magnificent tool within our brain system, and it's in our biology to be able to feel all these. So having the ability to feel pain also is the ability to feel love. To feel disappointed. Well, why did I feel disappointed that I had COVID and I had to change all my plans? I felt disappointed because I love my friends. I love my family. I love being part of my community. So if the ability to be part of something and to care about something is the coin, then you're going to have pleasure when you're with them. And you can have disappointed and suffering when it's taken away. And that is actually the gift. The gift is that we actually have the consciousness to recognize that we have the ability to control our thinking, to recognize what we're feeling, and then to be able to make a choice. Now that's mindfulness. I do mindfulness coaching, okay? And mindfulness coaching, I'm just checking. Thank you so much, Wayne. I'm so glad you're here, and you can obviously hear me, so keep sending it out. My cowboy, my new thought cowboy. So once we have that coin, and that's what Dumbledore is saying, is the human being is the ability to have the coin, to have and understand. One of the greatest strengths is that we can feel pain, because then we can feel love. Then we can feel love. So let's take it a little bit further in that. Let me go, and I got some great quotes out of Harry Potter. Look at this one. In the Order of Phoenix, Sirius Black says, we're all got both light and dark inside of us. What matters is the part we choose to act on. That's who we really are. Right? That is actually wisdom that I've always heard, that came out of the Cherokee tribe, where they had the chief went up to one of the little boys and he said, I want to tell you that we have a good wolf and a bad wolf inside of ourselves. Everybody does. And they're always going at it together inside and fighting and fighting and fighting. And the little boy looks up to the chief and says, well, who wins? And he says, who you feed. That's exactly what Sirius Black says. That is exactly what Ernest Holmes says. That is exactly what Jesus says. It's not that you don't have the absence of bad, evil, pain, negative thoughts that run through your mind. Everyone has that. The amygdala, the fear process within our brain, gets activated, and we want to protect ourselves through a fight, flight, freeze way. So when we're fighting, we want to hoard, we want to take, we want to dominate. When we're flighting, we want to ignore, we want to abandon, we want to get rid of. And when we freeze, we are shutting down. Those are all negative traits that lay within all of us. Don't be surprised when they pop up. But the mindfulness and the process that we've been talking about with our infinite possibilities is that you can take that and you can recognize it and you can say, it's just a thought. It's just a feeling. I don't need to add more to it. I don't need to capture it. I can say, let it flow through us and choose the other side. Choose the way in which calms us down. Choose the way in which goodness rises up from us. What rises up. Dumbledore said, of course it is happening inside your head, but why on earth does that not mean it's real? So this is actually in the very end. Harry Potter was, he was dying, and Dumbledore came to him and he said, is this all going on in your head? And he said, yes. And that's exactly what we're saying. This is all going on in your head. However you're perceiving, whatever it is it COVID? Is it the holidays? Is it a new job change? Is it a relationship with your family? Whatever is going on in your particular environment, you are the filter system of it. And if you put your thoughts and your intentions towards that filter system, then it is your reality. It is your reality. You are creating your reality. So look at this huge book, Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, talking about all how your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are creating your reality. And that if you change your thoughts, your reactions, then you're changing your reality. Your reality will change. Right? Take a breath. Think about it. What is painful in your life right now? Me being isolated and not being able to be with my family for Thanksgiving and for a lot of holidays, functions that are coming up. Yeah, that is painful. That is my reality. But if I focus on the negative of it, then it becomes suffocating. It becomes overwhelming. And if I do, and I say to myself, it's okay. I do not have to look at the negative. I can shift to the positive. What can I do differently right now to create my reality in which I can bring myself a sense of peace, a sense of love, a sense of caring? How can I bring and see and celebrate the rainbow? How can I celebrate the rainbow in the storm? I heard a good quote, and I wish I could tell you who it was from, but this was quote went something like, even in the storms, it does stop raining. I will test negative again. It will happen. It might not happen today. So what's the rainbow in today? But it will happen. It will stop raining. It will. So this is where we come through. Look at this one from another one, a good one from Dumbledore. This is in the last episode, or the last movie, I should say. Words are, in my not so humble opinion, our most inexhaustible source of magic, capable of both inflicting injury and redeeming it. Wow. Wow. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that what this is? Not only just words, right, that you speak. I can definitely hurt someone with my words, and you can't take back your words. So that's why you have to be really careful that when you're going into the dark side of anger and frustration and pain, you're just not spewing poison out, because once you spew out that poison, you can't take it back. Those people have seen it, and later on you might apologize and say, I didn't mean it. And that might be true, you didn't mean it, but they heard it. So be very careful when you're on that dark side that you watch your words. But also it goes to the words you say to yourself, right? The words you say to yourself. Now, words have healing. When you talk to yourself and you feel like, oh man, this is a bad day, and you see yourself going down that rabbit hole, can you take those words and change it and say, no, this isn't a bad day. This is a challenging day. This is a day in which I get to practice my mindful toolkit. This is a day in which I can go ahead and do a treatment and know the truth. And that treatment, those words from that prayer, from that treatment, whatever your faith is, those words have the power. Those words have the power. Look at this. This is another great quote from it. It is the ability of one's convictions that determine success, not the number of followers. Now, I love this because it goes back to conviction is intention. Conviction. It's what I believe. It is what you believe that creates your success. It doesn't matter how many people cheer you on or tell you you're right or tell you you're wrong. I'm not seeking approval from the outside to validate the approval on the inside. And this is what they're talking about. It's not about everyone saying you can do it. It's about that you believe you can do it. It is your convictions. It is your belief process that allows you to be successful. You can have your parents, your husband, your boss, your kids, whoever, even if you say to your kids, if they say you're wonderful, but you feel like you're not enough, if you feel like you're not good enough, you're not lovable enough, you're not capable enough, then you will keep producing those thought patterns. I'm not good enough, validating it doesn't matter what the world say. You will keep stumbling and stumbling because your convictions, your intentions are not matching how you feel. You got to get them to match. You got to go and give it to the belief system, that inner power we're talking about. Feed the good. Feed the good. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't want people to tell you those things, but you have to take it in and actually believe it in your authentic self, right? That's why, I mean, Harry Potter, it just blew my mind. I was just sitting on the couch and breathing it in, and I was like, this is everything we talk about in New Thought. And in Buddhism, in my life, in my coaching, it's all in this story. And then I realized Star Wars is the same, right? Star Wars has all that going on. All that going on. Here, let me. Sacred Earth, I'm so glad you're here. You wrote, it's kind of boring alone all the time. I pray I start to believing. Yes, yes. I do understand what it feels like when you feel, and you know what's so interesting that about being alone, I know, and I work with a lot of people, and they're alone even when they're in a full room, like at college or in their schools or in their jobs, because it goes back to being alone. That feeling of alone comes from the inside. The inside. Oh, excuse me. I am sorry. There we go. My banners got a little upset because it comes from the inside. If you feel like, that's such a good example. If you feel like you're alone in this world and not interconnected into this world, then it doesn't matter if you're in a stadium, because it's that belief system. It's that conviction that I'm alone. You are manifesting what you feel into your world, and it's as if you cannot connect. So how do you do that? How do you sit with that and say, well, I want to start believing it? I want to start believing it. Of course, you can see a practitioner and or a coach or something that to help you understand, to see what the resistance is and help you get past that resistance through treatment or through communication. But how do you get it when you start knowing the resistance? Well, one thing I want to be so proud that you wrote is that you could identify the resistance. Identify what's happening, the feeling of being alone. And then you want to do is you don't want to go out and seek other people to feel you interconnected. You actually want to sit within yourself and hold that and say, it's okay that I feel alone now. It's okay. So you don't go into a stress reaction. You can say, this is what I'm working on right now. Whatever you guys are working on, being alone, not enough, not good enough, whatever you're working, you got to hold it. I'm going to take my chapstick. Pretend this is it. You want to hold whatever is the problem and make sure that you say to yourself, it's okay. This is my journey to deal with this. Not make it like push it away or live in denial about that. You want to be able to hold it and actually feel it. And if you can say, I can feel this, then you can say, now, if I can feel this, then I can start working on feeling the other side of the coin, which is interconnection. And say, well, how am I interconnected? And how can I be even interconnected to this chapstick? So I'm working on aloneness right now because I'm going to use that example because I'm so pleased that someone put it out there. Where did this chapstick come from? It came from the store. And before that, it came from the factory. And before that, it came from chemicals, and then it came from the earth, and it goes back and back. And what are all the steps to get it to me? It's people, ideas, thoughts. That I am so grateful that all the people in the world actually brought this together for this chapstick. Or you could say for your cup of coffee, or for your donut, or for a piece of corn. And when you start realizing that actually we're all very much interwoven together, even when we're not alone, that actually we aren't ever alone, because everything we've ever done, from the clothes I'm wearing, to the earrings I'm wearing, to the internet I'm having, has been this big web of energy, of this oneness. Now, I'm not saying we're all the same, because we're all uniquely different with different ideas and stuff. But this oneness brought it in. And that everyone has been influencing me. And that means, therefore, I'm influencing everyone else. And when you start realizing you're never really alone, Of course, we have that inner feeling, what we could say is God, the God creation. And you say, I want to connect to that inner God or that inner energy or that inner emotion of feeling that's going on that has touched everything and everyone. And I am part of that. And I see it represented in everything around me. You start feeling a little less alone because you realize how many people influence you and how many people you have influenced. And you take that inner breath. I have a fun thing I want to just share with you guys. I went to Below 5. Maybe you have it in your area. And they had these affirmation cards. Look how cute they are. It's a whole box. $5 for these beautiful affirmation cards. I think I'm going to go and put them in everybody's stocking, right? And so for fun, what I have done is taken my affirmation cards, and when I feel like, man, I feel really alone right now, or I feel unlovable, or I feel, I can do a prayer and I can do a treatment, but I just randomly pull one of these affirmation cards. I'm giving it to you before me. Today, I am healthy. So that's what I did. So then I take it and I say, today, my mind, my heart, and my soul are one healthy being. And then I hold it and I say, I am going to use this affirmation. And I know that today I am healthy. I'm healthy in body, mind, and spirit. And that my spirit is interconnected with all people. And that I am not alone. Because I have the sacred self that is with me at all times and in my heart. Because I am healthy. Isn't that cool? So think about that. You don't have to go get these affirmation cards, but you could get them, right? Just drive down the street if you live or look at it, $5. And then take an affirmation and sit with that and hold it. You've identified I'm unlovable or I don't feel smart enough today or whatever it is, and pull an affirmation and then sit and meditate with it and allow your inner self to just bubble up and give you that answers that you need, because the answer is in you, All right, let's go back to Harry Potter. Dumbledore said, do not pity the dead, Harry. Pity the living, above all, those who live without love. Wow. I mean, is Harry Potter so cool? Of course, we know the highest being is love. And the biggest part for going into that love is self-love, right? Self-love. We'll go back to thinking about not being lonely. Can you be happy just being with you? Can you be happy can you just celebrate? I'm having a lot of just you time having COVID and being isolated as I am. I'm usually out and about. So what can I do for the self-love to be excited to be with me? What is one action Sacred Earth can do today to be excited to be with yourself? Start there. Don't be lonely because you have you. If you are not your best friend, then who is? You. And you have that inner spirit, that inner God inside of you, that intuition. Sit with that. It's very exciting. Watch something like Harry Potter. Watch something like Harry Potter. Watch something fun, and say, what is the message I'm telling myself by watching this? What are the words that are coming? If you have to be isolated and be alone, then allow yourself to have that inner dialogue of the inner God to talk to you. That's how I got this whole series of, infinite possibilities with Pip. It's because I was alone. I'm like, I don't feel good. Not going to read a book. Not going to do much of anything. I'll watch Harry Potter, and then I'll allow Harry Potter to speak to me. right? I'll allow Harry Potter to tell me what I need to know. And it was so much fun. Look, here's another great one. If you want, Sirius Black says this, okay. If you want to know what a man's like, take a good look on how he treats his inferiors, not his equals. I love that. I used to remember that very much when I went out dating, in my dating days. I would watch how my date interacted with strangers that we would run up to. So, the doorman, um, the receptionist desk, the waiter, whatever it was, how he would be putting his best for his best behavior to me in trying to influence me. I got it. But how is he treating everybody else? When I was the headmaster of a school, I knew everyone's name and I had a relationship with everyone, including the people, the custodian people, all those different kinds of people that would come into our lives. And I wanted to make sure, and I knew that everyone had equal value, from our mentor teachers to, our custodians, to the parents, whoever it was, everybody. They were all equal in my mind. They all had an opinion and they all saw different aspects of the school that I needed to understand to run the school well. How do you treat other people in which are just passing people in your life? Because they, of course, are equally as divine in every single aspect of their existence as you, as me. As a superstar walking down the street to someone who doesn't have a home. And sometimes when I see people who don't have homes, or I can tell are having a rough time, and I see them walking with dignity and grace and a smile, I bow to them. Because, man, it sure is easy to be happy and kind when you have money and health and a nice car and good food and you don't have stress. But when you are stressed out and you don't have money and you don't have a car and you're doing public transportation to get to your jobs and things like that, and you do it with laughter and fun and love, those are the people I learn from so much and I admire so much. So think about that. Think about that. All right. How about this quote? This is a great quote. Okay. Dublin North. About sticking up, okay? It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to our enemies, but just as much to stand up to our friends. I love that one. It is so true. Everyone wants to, let's go fight for this and fight for that, and those are the enemies. It is so easy to say, those people over there, I need to stand up and, hold my ground and my boundaries, and all that is really good, right? But what about, can you stand your truth in the environment in which is very comfortable? A lot of times people will say, well, I don't want to make waves. Now, I do understand you have to pick your battles. That's true. You got to pick your battles and realize when is the time and the energy to say something. But we don't want to be enablers. We don't want to be enablers. When injustice is happening, even within our own friend group, is it time to say something? Is it time to be the only person, maybe in the neighborhood, who will say, no, I'm not going to conform to that thinking because I know it's not right? Really, what this is saying is, can you find your own character of your authentic self? Can you find your authentic self, right? That's what it's coping out. It is just so beautiful. I'm just checking. Thank you so much of the feedback. I really love how much Wayne and Sacred Earth is sending me feedback and really having great dialogue what's going on, what we're doing. I'm glad this is meaningful because it's meaningful to me as well. So, you know what? It doesn't mean that you don't have to butt your family members during the holidays. I just want to emphasize that. So if they're very different, but it does mean that you don't necessarily conform to it as well. I have a really I won't get into the political parties of it, but I have a relative who is has very polar views politically than I do, and they were running for office. So I went to visit them on the East Coast, and they came up to me and they said, "Are you going to vote for me?" And I laughed and I said, "God, no, would I ever vote for you?" And started to laugh. And he laughed. He goes, "Well, that's good because you're not even in my state." And we laughed together. It doesn't mean I love him less, but I'm not going to tell him I'm going to vote for him when he knows darn well I wouldn't vote for him because we're on different views. It doesn't make it wrong, but with humor and with love. And I said, "But I still love you." And he said, "And I still love you too." And it was nice. So we could have this meaning. So we don't have to conform to each other to get along. You don't want to please everyone. You want to stand in your truth. But it doesn't mean you stop loving the person, right? You don't stop loving the person. Let's see. How's this one? Okay, so this is Dumbledore again. But you know, happiness can be found even the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the light is your authentic self. That's what he's saying. It doesn't, you can say, this is horrific. I mean, me being my Thanksgiving is gone. I had my birthday, or I'm having my birthday. That's all those plans are gone. It makes me feel sad. Sad because I was anticipating and so far. So the dark is there. But the light is that I love everyone so much. And I'm so happy that I want to be with other people. I can turn on the light today. First of all, you don't turn it on. It's already on. I allow it to shine. I allow it to shine. All right, I now see I got on a roll on this, so I'm going to have us end this one. Numbing the pain for a while will make it worse when you finally feel it. So you work with what you got. Feel it. Goes back to what we were talking about. Feel what you feel and then work with it. Use affirmations, use treatments, explore it. Allow the transformation to have. That's what the infinite possibility is that, yes, I can hold my pain. Remember, we were talking about in the beginning of this, you can hold your pain and now you can transform it. Now you can work with it. Here's one last one. This is Dumbledore again. It is our choice, Harry, it's our choices, Harry, that shows what we truly are, far more than our abilities. Don't worry about your abilities. That's what practice is about. Practice will bring up your abilities, okay? It's your choice. It's your choice. It's your choice to choose to look into the light. It is your choice to understand, tame your mind and your thinking, right? It is your choice. That is the power. But use it. So what is the wand? The wand is choice. And then with the choice, with the power and the wand, you have the ability to cast your spell into this world of infinite possibilities. Well, I want to thank you all. I know I ran over a little bit. I got really into Harry Potter. That's so cool. I want to thank you guys for being here with me and New Thought Media. I want to thank you all for all the things that you do and that you bring this wonderful programming. Remember that New Thought Media is a donation organization, nonprofit. So as Giving Tuesday and this time of giving, please remember New Thought Media. Have a wonderful week. Use your sacred wand which is choice. Use the ability to cast the spell, which is your mind and thinking. Be aware that we both all have that good and bad within us, and feed the good. Cast the light, and keep practicing being your higher self. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week.